What's up, everyone? I'm Ghostatic, and I'm here to tell you how my latest release on Ensis Records, Help, featuring Susie Everiss, was made. Susie came to me with a vocal and a top line already sort of written out. She was able to sing that to me, and I pulled out the guitar as I do when I write basically all my music, found the chords that matched, and we were off to the races after that. So here's the project. It's a pretty big project, so don't mind if my CPU clips here and there. I got 109 tracks, including the auxes. I don't mess around. The bulk of the track is obviously the vocal, and we'll get to that first. She sang at about 126, which was great. Worked out for a good dance track. I wanted to give it some kind of 80s processing, synth-wavy, retro kind of sound for the synths, but keep the drums modern and chugging along. So let's get right to the vocals here. Let's get right to the guts of it. Here's her vocal isolated.
One that loves me, one that denies that it'd be easier to quit everything it says. So instead, I'll just lay in my bed.
All right, so aside from the EQ, these are the three that basically go on every single vocal track I record. And that's a preset that I made in Vox Former years ago. I've been using this since 2013, and it's remarkable what it turns a vocal into. You've got two compressors on here. You've got gate and a de-esser. I use the de-esser a little bit. A presence knob, which is kind of like saturation, but then they have another saturation knob, which is also adds some coloration, which is great. And I record this through a U87 clone and a GLA, a Golden Age pre-73 preamp. Vocal Rider, and then Vocal Rider, which just kind of automates the volume for you, like literally rides the vocal. Love it. Yeah, it's basically the processing on all the vocals. The main parts of the vocals are, there's a lot of layering. For example, if I take you to this part,
I just need some help.
So what's going on is I've got her vocal twice, I've got doubles going on, and I'm actually underneath it singing as well, an octave lower. I don't know if you could hear that. I took a lot of her vocal and I wanted to resample it. So what I did was this is all resampled vocals. This is what happens in the drop. This is basically the body of what drives the drop. So the drop sounds like this. This part of the drop is just vocal. I did the processing pretty similar to all the chops of vocals. I'll show you what one of them sounds like without processing and with processing. Sounds pretty stupid, actually. When you turn Ovox on, two classic vocoder settings with different patterns, different positions on this XY pad that they have on both of them. Then I take all that low end out with the EQ, compress a little bit more, add some mag EQ to brighten it up on the top. That's a great EQ for vocals. Then I gave it more stereo activity and a little LFO to pump it. And then track spacer basically, and if a vocal is happening, if you sidechain the vocal to whatever's being you want to be ducked, it will duck only those EQ bands, and it's a 32 band EQ I come to find out. It only ducks where the vocal is sitting. Anywhere else, and you've got a low pass and a high pass. If you only want it to affect a certain range, you can. The bulk of the synth work comes from Alchemy. I tried to keep things native for this project for some reason. I was obsessed with the idea of like only using synths that came with it, and I definitely go in and build custom presets like this one, which is the bulk of the song. It's got this performance pad, which I want to show you how it works. I did all this customizing of how it functions. So you kind of get an idea. It's a pretty wicked preset. Spent a lot of time on that one. The chorus, I took this old analog emulation synth, and for the drop, I've got that sound, which sounds by itself, Sounds like this. I do use tape saturation on there. It's tape delay, but I turn it into a tape saturation. If you turn the output to 100%, the feedback to 0, and you just mess around with the character and the modulation, you'll get all kinds of great tape effects. There's a lead in here that I really liked to use. Pretty simple. Another native plugin. I use that tape delay trick on there. Not much else going on. Little vintage warmer. So for the drums, I used Drum Machine Designer. And basically it's just Logic's native drum sampler. The new one is much better than it was before. Each hit gets all these different parameters you could mess with, and you've got like 3 pages to load into, which I've loaded a lot into. All these sounds I've used. I've been using Neutron 3 to process the buses. I was using Schweppes parallel processor on a lot of these as well, even on the vocals. Usually that's just a drum thing, but you can also add it to the vocals. Yeah, there's a lot to go over here. Listen, if you got questions, get at me. You can find me on social media. Just wanted to give you a quick lowdown of what was going on with this track. Hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial / breakdown of how the song was made. And let me know what you think of it. And I'll see you next time.